Welcome to Union Square Loft. My name is Kari, formerly known as Malik. Don't overthink it. It's just my middle name. And today we're here with somebody special, a close friend, a music producer, and student, a live production student and design at the Berklee School of Music.
Yeah.
Cam Dasher, everybody.
Hi.
Hi, Cam.
Hello. Hi. So happy to be here.
I am happy that you're here. So let's just dive right into it.
Okay.
Music. How did that come about?
I mean, yeah, so true. It just one day I just started listening and then I couldn't look back. Mm-hmm. No, but I grew up doing musical theater. Uh-huh. So I have a lot of history of performing in the space, knowing what other people are writing. And then I started feeling kind of limited by that. And I was like, I'm going to teach myself how to produce. Mm-hmm. And so over the last 7 years, I taught myself how to produce music and write my own stuff. I mean, I think I've been writing things probably since I was a baby. I think the first song I ever wrote was on my shitty little toy drum pad. It was called Nonsense Girl. And I was like, ugh.
What was so nonsensical at the time?
I think it was just complete gibberish. Is all I remember. So who knows? Uh-huh. But yeah, then I pivoted to that, and now I'm kind of pivoting more into live engineering. So doing sound design and sound engineering, lighting design.
Is there something that you like more than the other, or is it just something that
TBD?
TBD. To be determined.
I'm figuring that out as I go, but I'm learning a lot. I'm really enjoying video design, making visuals for different people's shows, doing things that are pretty immersive, experiential, that kind of thing.
What's a dream collab? Like if you had to make visuals for somebody, who would you want to do it for right off the back?
Oh my God, there's so many.
It could be more than one. Top three.
Top three, Bjork. Bjork.
Taste exquisite.
Kate Bush, Come Out of Hiding, and I'll make your show for you, please. And then, oh my God, there's someone that I have wanted to work with for forever, and now I can't remember it. Nico Muhly, that's who it is. Nico Muhly.
What's his sound like?
He's an incredible experimental classical composer, and if you've seen the show Pachinko on Apple TV, he scored that, but he has this piece called Mother Tongue that I really love, and I would love to do some kind of immersive art installation for him. But
work that out.
My real dream is to do sound design for theme parks. So
theme parks?
Yes. I want to
Wait. Before we move on, let's go into this.
Okay.
Are you a Six Flags type fan, a Disney World,
Listen,
just
you can't get me talking about amusement parks because I'll just talk about that for the rest of the podcast.
We can.
But no, I want to do something more like what's going on in Europe. So there's these parks called Phantasialand and Thorpe Park.
I mean, given the administration, I want to move as well.
Yeah, I mean, we're filming this on Inauguration Day, so
Woo!
I'm looking at you. Really? Anyways, so yeah, there's these two parks. They're in Europe and the UK respectively. And the thing that they focus on is a lot of really, really immersive, cool attractions that are thrill rides that have nothing to do with existing IP. They're creating the original narrative and storytelling for that ride. And the sound design is super immersive. They're building audio systems and lighting systems that are specific to that ride and that engineering. And that's really exciting to me. And I think
it's experiential design.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
I want something that's part theater, part theme park, part
you have to work with
room,
UX people, engineers, and then you have to work with all of the
Yeah. I just kind of want to be able to mesh everything I'm interested in, and I want people to have fun. If they're engaging with my work, I want you to have fun.
Yeah.
That's the
I like that. So before we move on, I wanted to do something really quick. I wanted to play word association.
Okay.
So I'm gonna name something, and you just pick the first thing that comes to your mind. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Synth.
Wendy Carlos.
Work. Collaboration.
Theater. Devised theater.
Brooklyn Nights.
Nowadays.
Experimentation.
A ensemble work.
We're gonna keep going. Future sound.
Future sound. Experiential design. My sound?
Yes.
Oh, weird.
Work. Film.
Ooh, Tarkovsky.
Pop diva.
Pop diva? There's so many, but Charlie XCX is the first one that comes to mind currently. But also Beyonce.
Work. Success.
Is what you make it.
Frequency.
Practice every day.
Improv.
Comedy, high school improv, competitive improv team.
We're almost done. Vision.
I see it.
Harmony.
Melody.
And resonance.
Frequency.
Work. I like that.
Yeah.
We're not gonna do it the reverse because I don't have any words.
I mean, no, I could come up. We could
No.
we could do an ASMR version.
Okay.
Where-
How does that work?
I don't know. I'd come up with some words and then you just say it back, but we're gonna whisper it.
So I just say the exact word back.
No. It's the same thing. You
Okay.
Just okay. Okay. Microphone.
Binomial.
Parabola.
I hate math.
Okay, we'll do two more. Perfume.
Unnecessary sometimes. But if you want to start on a page, go
Real
ahead.
as fuck. Art.
I am she.
Amazing. We did it.
Work. Okay, so that was a quick segment of word association with a little bit of ASMR in there. I like that.
Yeah,
Parabola.
why not?
Ooh, that triggered, very triggered. Back to when I was a chemical engineer. We're not going to talk about that.
I forgot about that about you.
Yeah, switched very quick.
Yeah.
But as we move forward, I do have a few more questions. So you're known to be very like vocally layered and very, very vocally immersed. Like you depend on your voice a lot, and
Yeah.
it's fortunate because they have a wonderful voice.
Hell yeah.
And how did that play into your first project and your collaborators?
So when I first started producing music, I didn't know shit about playing instruments. I played guitar for many years, but I was only ever really a noodler. Like I never could like shred. I could play chords, but I was never really like fantastic. And like with piano, my fingers can't spread that far apart. Like they get kind of stuck, so I just can't really do it. But I don't know. I just knew that the one thing that I could write and arrange with was my voice.
Yeah.
And so I really leaned into that, and I was like, okay, how can I layer and develop a production style and a vocal style that's based on what I know and make it weirder? So something that I tend to use a lot, especially now, is like vocoders as instruments as well as harmonic backing. So there's like certain parts of my tracks that are like using a vocoder specifically to make the harmony sound wider,
Right.
where it's duplicates of parts I've already recorded. And then there's other vocoders that are totally different melody lines or harmony lines that are like countering what I've already recorded. And so it's creating dimension in a way that synths kind of do. It's acting as a synth, but it's just my voice.
That reminds me of Bon Iver's 22 A Million. There was a whole period of time where that's all I listened to for an entire year.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember listening to I think it was like a written interview of him going and creating this whole entire instrument just for the voice, kind of like you described.
100%.
And it was one of the most refreshing things I've heard in a while.
Yeah.
So I guess which project or what part of your journey actually informed you to experiment more with that? And is there like a moment where how do you find the balance between distortion and accentuating the voice and then relying on your natural abilities? Because you do have natural ability as well.
So I think part of it was finding collaborators that I worked really well with.
Shout out to Mars.
Shout out Mars. Shout out Kevin. Kevin's been awesome. He's been working on co-producing my upcoming EP with me. Oops. No,
You heard it here first.
People know.
Say that.
It's on its way eventually. I'll probably start doing rollout pretty soon. I just have to get them mastered, okay? I have to get them mastered, and shit's expensive. But yeah, I don't know. Basically, finding people who understand your vision and what you're trying to go for helps you kind of delineate like, this is what I know I'm good at in production. This is what I know you're good at in production. So you focus on that, I'll focus on this. And then we'll come together and we'll make them mesh together. And like that tends to work really, really well. And like with Kevin specifically, he lives in London. Like we're totally remote and we've made an entire EP together over Zoom, which is wild.
Zoom University, everybody.
Zoom University, babe.
I'm gonna buy some stock.
Yeah. Not stock in Zoom University. It's gonna tank, girl.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it comes from, I mean, you know, theater is such an integral part of my life. And like, you know, I'm classically trained in musical theater. I'm classically trained in Italian. I've been singing since I was like a baby and have been trained since I was a baby. And, you know, I always knew I was able to sing, but I think getting out of the like styles that I was taught and was trained in and like finding my own sound, that's how I was able to lean into that production style.
I like that.
Yeah.
Like that sounds like one of the biggest challenges that I feel like most artists, no matter what medium, kind of like go through, like getting out of something that inspires them into becoming like a byproduct of the inspiration and taking it further.
Totally.
And then I guess if that was a challenge that you overcome, what is like the most easiest success that like, what's the best part, what came to you naturally besides your natural ability of the voice?
I don't know. I feel like meeting people has been kind of one of my biggest strengths, as I'm like, you know, I'm a big homebody. I like to keep to myself, but I'm pretty good at like, you know, going out of my way to meet people that inspire me and like making space for them in my life to like teach me things and to teach them things, and we learn from each other. And like, I don't know, like I came in with so like little knowledge about music production, and the reason I know so much now is because of the people that I surround myself with, and especially queer community. I feel very, very, very lucky to be surrounded by the people that I'm surrounded by. And you know, we have that like space here to do that in New York. Yeah, like I'm from Texas and it's there, but
this
you
ain't
have to
Texas.
Ain't no hold. But you have to look for it.
Yeah.
Like it's in a very specific place. It's just not like, you know, it's not everywhere. And I think like having the ability to just kind of like do whatever the fuck I want, be whoever the fuck I want to be. And like have the freedom to explore and experiment around people who trust me and who I trust. Like that's the biggest thing for me.
I feel like in life, I wish people either did one or two things, and that was like a requirement to be like a human being. And that's either to be in a service industry or to be an artist.
Real.
Because either way, or both, because either way, you're really workshopping the hell out of life. And I think that's necessary. Yeah. You're workshopping your talents, you're workshopping your craft, and that's the only way you're going to get somewhere.
Yeah, and you even need to learn yourself. How to work with difficult people.
Yeah.
And like, I think like recently, I think one of the things that's been...
Don't spill too much tea.
No. It's not. I think one of the things that I've struggled with the most as an artist is just that, like, you know, I'm very assertive. I can be like pretty bossy when I want what I want. And like, it's something that I've had to unlearn, but also like in my last semester of school, Mark Brickman, who was like, he's one of the most like influential lighting designers of all time. He came in and he was like, you know, I've been doing this since I was a kid and I have attitude issues, but I'm real and I'm doing what I want. People just kind of live with that. And I was like, that's so, like, I feel seen. Like, I feel seen, and I feel like it's okay for me to just like be like, this is what I want and this is how we achieve it, because like people have made their success that way.
Right.
And like, obviously, I'm a nice person most of the time.
We have our moments.
Everyone has their moments. Everyone gets stressed, but like, yeah, I don't know. It's just.
So speaking of duos, you're in a duo called Underfloor?
Oh yes.
Okay, so how does that kind of how do you distinguish that from like your own solo work?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely doing very different stuff than my solo work, and I think maybe one of the best examples is the one song that we have released together was originally a song that I had been working on for a year prior. And then I just kept getting stuck on it, and I was like, it's so good, and it really could be something, but I just can't unlock it. And then I met June, and I was like,
In what month did you meet June?
What month did I meet June?
Please be June.
It was not June.
Damn. Okay.
It wasn't. I think it was November.
Wishful thinking.
Sorry, babe.
Well, wake me up when
I'm
September
sorry.
ends.
Wake me up. Yeah. No, we met in November. I think we started working on the Body song in December of 2022. Yeah. December of 2022, we started working on it. And she just like opened the world up in that song. And I was like, oh my God. Like, of course. Of course. It was just like, it was too much of the same thing over and over again. And like, we just kind of like started like really breaking the walls of what that song could be. And we started working on more stuff, and we ended up kind of taking a break from making music together because she's finishing her studies as a film student. I started my studies as a grad student for live production, and we just like didn't have time. If we have time, we'll jam and like work on stuff sometimes, but like it's very, very different than my solo stuff. My solo stuff leans more like experimental pop, like more like drum and bass influence, or like very vocally present, like forward. Yeah. And she leans more into like instrumental ambient, and I make a lot of ambient stuff too on the side, but it's not the stuff that I'm releasing under my like main artist name, main artist page. But also I make a lot of different stuff. So does she. We both make a bunch of stuff in a bunch of different genres. So it overlaps, and also, you know, sometimes doesn't. And we've had challenges in like how our work styles differ, and like, I don't know, I think being honest about that is like a really important thing. Like, she likes to experiment and do a lot of things, and like do all those things at the same time. And I like to like, if I find an idea that I think might work, I like to try everything possible with that one idea, and then be like, all right, it doesn't work, let's move on. And so that, you know, we would kind of hit stalemates on certain songs and not finish them because like I was like, I need to work this way, and she was like, I need to work this way, and like, you know, we come back to each other. I mean, we're dating together for like 2 years now, and it's sweet and awesome. But yeah, with music, it's a lot more like give and take, like depends on the schedule.
Do you see some of, I guess, the relationship spilling over into your, I guess you were releasing a debut EP, is that right?
I guess it is my debut EP.
Yeah. Okay. Do you see some of that spilling over into like your music, or is it again something where I just know who I am musically and I have a foundation that I'm very sure of myself?
In the duo specifically?
Well, in your solo projects.
Ooh, my relationship spilling over. I don't know. I think my work in the same way that, well, I think that our relationship filters over a lot more into June's work than it does mine. I write a lot about the apocalypse and like weird philosophies that are like, they have pertinence to my life, but also are like kind of removed in a way from like anything that's like present and real and nonfiction in my life. And she's writing and working on a lot of things that have to do with her actual life and like things going on and what she's ideating about. And I don't know, I think that's like
therapeutic.
Yeah, it's therapeutic. It's therapeutic in different ways for us. Like, I think it's, for me, art is a form of escapism that is also grounding
and constructive.
Yeah, exactly. And like, you know, the album that I made for my thesis of undergrad a couple of years ago, which is only on Bandcamp because I'm having problems with putting it on DistroKid. DistroKid?
Let's talk about it. DSPs. Let's talk about it.
Why?
Why?
I've tried to do it like 4 times.
Por qué?
Anyways. Okay. But yeah, that album was based on like 2 different books that I'd read throughout my studies as a Russian literature major, because I've done everything.
Yeah.
I've lived like 20 different lives. But yeah, it was a really interesting way to explore like writing things that had to do with me in my life, and also were fictionalized narratives about these like characters from these novels that I read. And I don't know, it's different every time. Like the EP that I'm working on now is definitely the most personal stuff I've worked on, but it's also, you know, still a character, and there's still parts of it that aren't me. So yeah, really, it depends on the project. I think it changes over time.
I love that. I love that. And even more so, I also wanted to get into the fact that you actually find ways to give back to the community. And you were mentioning the idea of just like actually engaging other people, and that's how you learn. And then it's also like a reciprocation of that.
Yeah.
You were in a few collectives. You were in like Gender Amplified.
Oh, hell yeah, yeah.
You've worked off Broadway.
Yeah.
You worked on film productions and everything.
Yeah.
What was like the coolest like nerd out experience that you got to do? Like this is your chance to just go full nerd. It's just like, oh my God. Like
The coolest nerd out experience. I mean, it's probably the grad program I'm in right now.
Okay.
Like, I know it's not like a necessarily like work experience, but like
Go to school, kids.
go to school. If you find a program you like that you're passionate about, that you think is going to challenge you, do it if you have the money. And scholarships.
Yeah.
And financial aid.
The money will come.
Inauguration day, everybody.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
The money will come.
The money will come.
Just do what you do and do it well.
Yeah. But I just like, I'm learning so much so fast.
Yeah.
And am able to like really kind of stretch my wings and like put my hands in places that I thought I would never be able to. And that I always wanted to. Like, I always wanted to learn how to do lighting design, but I just never had the time or the classes or the instruction or it, cause I was talking to my coworker about this last night. It's literally a coding language. And you don't know that until you start like learning the syntax of the lighting console keyboard. It's like, it's a whole different thing. And without this program, I wouldn't have been able to do that. And I'm like able to like level with so many more different types of people because like I could level with music producers before. I could level with theater actors and theater directors before. But now like sirens.
It's a state of emergency.
I hope that person's okay. What was I saying?
You can level with different people as a music
Yeah.
producer more naturally.
Now I can just like level with like every type of person like that's in like a creative field and I'm like learning how to like the other type of production, which is like not like music production, but like event production.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's a lot of new skills that I'm really enjoying learning. And I feel like I'm nerding out every day because I'm like, oh, I did this and this, you know, it's awesome. It's awesome. It's great.
So outside of creating the best amusement park in the world,
LOL.
What's next for you?
What's next for me? Who knows? It could really go anywhere right now. And I think that's what I love so much about where I'm at in my life is like, I'm learning so many different things that it could really just like, you know, it could be like, I'm on this path here. It could go this way. It could go this way, this way, this way. And it could all come back together into one culminating thing. Like, you just never know.
You don't.
I think even though I have a debut EP coming out, I'm probably moving away from production and making my own music. I'm still want to perform and do all those things and eventually build my own live show. But like, you know, there's just so many things I can do. And I don't want to like, I don't know. I feel like one of the most like toxic things is like having one thing that you do all the time, at least for me in my life. Like I can't imagine just like
doing the same
thing every single day. And like, you know, maybe that's consistent work, but I wouldn't be
so
happy.
much cool shit in this world.
Yeah, I wouldn't be satisfied. I wouldn't feel like I was successful because I would feel restricted.
I think that's also part of the generation now and days. It's just like you have to be that multi-hyphenate. You have to be that doctor / I don't know, like acrobat, Cirque du Soleil kind of thing.
There was like a girl on the Dallas Cowboys show who was like a doctor and also a dancer. Good for her.
Good for you.
She was also really beautiful. Shout out that girl.
Come on the podcast. Let's talk.
Yeah. Hi.
So I love talking to you about this because I've known you for some time, and just to see like from your first projects and like, kind of guiding Mars, and then coming in already with your lived experience, and then coming here, applying and getting into one of the best music schools ever, and then just having all these different mediums. It's definitely a testament to just like keep going, keep doing what you want to do. Yeah. You can be the master of your craft, and you can legitimately add to your own legitimacy, and you can protect the integrity of the work. practice is a good thing. It's
practice.
A good thing.
And it doesn't have to be the same thing every day, but put in some time every day to do something.
Do something.
Like, I've been on break from being in school for the last 5 weeks, and I am doing a giant cross stitch project because that's another art form. I can scan it in and make it visuals for something, put it into Touch Designer, do whatever I want. Like, but that's even in my free time. I'm like still doing something artistic to keep the brain moving.
Keep the brain
moving. Listen to things that inspire you. Make a playlist.
Don't limit yourself. Limitless.
Yes, and move out of your comfort zone. Listen to something that you wouldn't otherwise listen to. A lot of people in high school used to be like, oh, like you listen to devil music, because I listened to George Crumb, who's like a really wild composer. But now I'm making that kind of music and I'm working with those kinds of people, and that's all I wanted from my life. So suck it to the people that told me that I listened to scary music. Like, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, I could throw shade, but I won't do it.
Not too much tea today. We don't want to get canceled.
No. I need media training.
So just real quick, I have 3 more questions, 3 small little tidbits. Favorite Björk song?
Ooh, okay.
That's a hard
There's
one.
3.
Favorite Björk era?
Favorite Björk era is Vespertine.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, Vespertine is my favorite Björk album. First Björk song I ever heard, though, that has like memory significance for me is Bachelorette.
Okay.
This is the first song I ever heard from her.
Mine was All Is Full of Love.
Oh!
But then I backtracked, and I can't get enough of Pagan Poetry, Lion Song. Like, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Raise your flag.
Yeah, literally. I worked a show last night where like the 2 artists are like huge Björk fans. And one of them was a violinist and was like mixing Stravinsky with hyper ballad. It was wild. It was awesome. Shout out JD. Shout out Queen JD. Shout out Stephen Tran. That show is awesome. Shout out Brooklyn Art House, my job. Come to the shows. We have cool stuff happening.
That's awesome.
Yeah, those are probably the ones.
Is there like a favorite electronic specific artist that you are like have on your mind now?
Right now, I've been listening to a lot of Floating Points.
Floating Points.
Yeah, he just dropped a new album and it's unbelievably good. Also, Corless, who just produced the new FKA Twigs album, also makes really great solo stuff. And I've been a fan of him for a while. Machine Drum, who also produced the most recent Tinashe album, but makes a lot of really great electronic stuff. I've been listening to a lot of Square Pusher. What else have I been listening to? Oh my God, so much. Jay-Lin, best producer of our time. Best producer alive right now. She is doing insane stuff with rhythm, friends with Björk. And I've seen her live twice. Twice. I want to see her many, many more times because her set is so impressive. She's so good.
Well, I hope to see you design a set like that.
I would love to design for Jay-Lin. Jay-Lin, if you're watching this, I would love to design for you. Heart.
Awesome. So Cam, where can we find you on the socials?
You can find me on Instagram at Cam Dasher. I'm off TikTok now. It's banned and then it's back, but then I deleted it because it feels like weird surveillance state stuff going on with President Trump, air quotes very strong on that one. Where else am I? Can catch me on SoundCloud. Cam Dash, CamDash. Yeah. And then I have a link tree in my Instagram bio. So you can find all my music on Spotify, all the streaming, Bandcamp, Cam Dasher. I'm around and vibing.
Work.
And I have a website, but I need to redo it. So we're not going to talk about it right now.
Work. Well, thank you guys for coming to Union Square Loft. That was our brief interview with the amazing, incredible Cam Dasher. Again, my name is Kari, formerly known as Malik. Don't overthink it. It's just my middle name. And we're signing out.
Mwah!